Welcome to Mamahood After Trauma. I'm Emily, your host. Here we share strategies and inspiration to help you heal and grow with kindness and understanding. Let's dive in. This is Mamahood After Trauma. Hey there, Mama. Before we dive in, I want to remind you to grab your Unlocking Peace Guide, a free resource designed to help you start creating calm, reclaim your peace, and manage your triggers with ease. Head over to my website, the link is in the show notes, to download it now. Welcome back, Mama, to the Mamahood After Trauma podcast. I'm Emily Cleghorn, your trigger recovery coach, and today we're diving deep into emotional safety, what it really looks like, why it matters, and how you can create it for yourself and your little ones. If you've ever wondered, what does emotional safety actually mean? How do I know if I have it? And how can I build it when I've never truly felt it myself? This episode is just for you. So grab a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, whatever you like to drink. Take a deep breath and let's talk about the peace that's possible beyond the trigger. Alrighty, so what is emotional safety? I think before we go very much further, we need to define what emotional safety is so that we're all on the same page. Okay, so emotional safety is the feeling of being safe to express emotions without fear of judgment, rejection, or punishment. And it's really, really important because it's the foundation of healing, connection, and resilience. Without it, we stay stuck in survival mode. And so let's address some common myths that go along with emotional safety. One is that emotional safety means that everything is calm all the time. And this is not true. Safety means repair, not perfection. And a second is if I create emotional safety for my kids, I won't have boundaries. And actually, boundaries increase emotional safety. So if you have boundaries, and I talk about this in my book that's coming in July, if you have boundaries, your kids will feel more safe. So on my journey, I I can compare and contrast different phases of my healing journey. And I remember when my kids were really little and I had not done as much healing work as I have done to this current date. And seeing their reactions to my overreactions, I could tell that they did not feel safe. And now they feel emotionally safe with mommy because I have done the work to calm my own nervous system down. And so here are some signs that you don't feel emotionally safe. If you're wondering, how do I know? How do I know that I don't feel emotionally safe? So you struggle to trust your own emotions. You second guess your own emotions. You second guess yourself just in general. Did that really happen? Am I remembering this correctly? Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe it's not really a big deal. Those types of things. You avoid deep conversations out of the fear of rejection. Now, the fear of rejection can hold us back in a lot of ways, but you avoid having deep conversations with others, perhaps a spouse or a significant other, because you are scared they are going to reject you in some way. You feel responsible for keeping the peace at all costs. So it becomes your job to keep the peace within your household, within a friend group, within a workspace. It becomes your job. And your body reacts before you even realize you're triggered. So your chest gets tight, your shoulders become tense, your thoughts pick up the pace and begin racing. If you've ever apologized for crying or felt like you had to shrink your feelings to make others comfortable, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, what does emotional safety look like in real life? We're going to talk about this in three ways. So, we're going to talk about this in regards to what emotional safety looks like for you, what emotional safety looks like for you with regards to your children, and what emotional safety looks like for you in regards to your relationships. Okay, so if you feel emotionally safe with yourself, you are able to trust your emotions without labeling them as too much. You're able to give yourself space to process feelings without rushing to fix them. Okay. Now, if you're listening, I gave the word fix air quotes because our emotions are not a sign that we are broken, but that's another that's another topic for another day. And you feel emotionally safe with yourself when you are able to set boundaries that protect your peace. Okay, so what does you extending emotional safety for your kids looks like? It looks like allowing them to feel and express their emotions without shame. It looks like being their safe place even when they're upset. And it looks like modeling self-regulation instead of expecting them to regulate before they're ready. In your relationships, emotional safety looks like feeling safe to communicate your needs and emotions, and for your partner to express theirs. And knowing that love isn't conditional on being easy or low maintenance. Okay, so we've covered what emotional safety is. We've talked about some of the myths associated with it and what it actually looks like in real life and what you feel if you don't have it. So now let's turn our attention to how we create it. And this is the part where if you have not yet been taking notes, you may want to start taking notes. Either come back if you're driving or um, doing something else while you're listening, come back and take these notes because there are some action steps. If you've been listening to the podcast for a long time, you will know that I like to give you action steps. I like to make healing actionable instead of this big, complex thing that's overwhelming. Let's break it down into steps for you. So, the first step, self-awareness. Simply noticing when you feel unsafe emotionally without judgment. Don't judge yourself. Pay attention to the physical cues that your body is giving you. Because all of those physical cues, the tightness in your chest, the tense shoulders, the racing thoughts, the heart rate speeding up, the breathing, all of those physical signs are ways that your body is talking to you and letting you know what's going on. Secondly, and this may be challenging for trauma survivors depending upon where you are on your healing journey. Practice self-compassion. Now, self-compassion is tricky because if you're not very far on this journey and your self-criticism voice is really, really loud, that negative self-talk voice is really, really loud, it can be really hard to notice because that self-criticism voice is the default at this point. But notice it, become aware of it, and give yourself grace. Your reactions make sense. And on your healing journey, as you go along creating emotional safety, you're unlearning old patterns. The patterns that you're unlearning did not happen overnight. It took time for them to become a pattern. And so learning new behaviors and new ways of being also takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. And so self-compassion in itself is a journey that requires patience, a lot of patience, actually. The third step is to shift your inner dialogue. Instead of asking, why am I like this? Just shift that ever so slightly and try, what do I need right now? Because sometimes the why doesn't matter in the immediate situation. Yes, the answer to the why can be hugely helpful, but not in the immediate moment. In the immediate moment, in order to create emotional safety, we need to be aware of what we need in the moment to create that emotional safety, that feeling of safety. And of course, none of these steps are completed overnight. This is kind of like a pathway that you walk down and journey along. The fourth is model emotional safety for your kids. Validate their feelings even when their behavior needs to be corrected. And this can be really challenging as a trauma surviving parent and can be really challenging as a parent in general. Because sometimes we get so wrapped up on the behavior and we don't pay attention enough to what motivated the behavior. What was the intention behind the behavior? Because usually the behavior is telling us something that our kids don't have the words for yet. For example, my son struggles when he gets frustrated, he struggles with screaming. He forgets to use his words and he screams. And so I have to, as frustrating and triggering as the screaming can be, I have to remain calm. I have to manage my own nervous system and help him to remember to use his words. And it's been a very long process, but now we're to the point where he can use his words. I have to keep my voice very calm, quiet, and I just ask him, what is the problem? And he can tell me. And I remind him, well, sweetheart, you need to use your words. You need to tell mommy or daddy that X, Y, or Z is bothering you. And we can help you fix it. But we can't guess. And we don't understand what your screams mean when you're screaming. And the fifth step, find community and support. Healing happens in safe relationships, and not all communities are made equal. Listen to your gut when you are going into a community. If it doesn't feel good, listen to that feeling. Emotional safety isn't about never feeling triggered. It's about knowing you have the tools to navigate those moments without shame or fear. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. Send me a DM on Instagram at emily.mamahood You've got this, mama. I'm here for you. I'm cheering you on. Keep going. Keep pushing through. Until next time. Thanks for listening to Mamahood After Trauma. If today's episode resonated with you, make sure to grab your Unlocking Peace guide from the link in the show notes to start your healing journey with practical tools. Remember, Mama, you're not alone in this. Together, we're mending the past so mamas can mama in peace. See you next time.